Good evening, good afternoon, I suppose, Minister and ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here today and to have been given the opportunity to speak to you on my experience of the WAM program, one which was tremendously insightful and very enjoyable overall. Just a little bit of background on myself. Obviously, my name is Gerard Mulvihill and I'm from Listowel in County Kerry. I qualify for WAM courtesy of having cerebral palsy. It affects the left side of my body, predominantly my left leg, and it manifests itself in increased muscle spasticity. While I did my undergraduate in UL, which was in journalism and new media, I undertook a period of Erasmus, a 6-month placement in Barcelona. And during that time, the support which I received from DARE and the disability office within UL itself was quite similar to that which I have since received from WAM. In short, I would say it was like a safety net, a support network, and a group of people that I could call on if I had any worries or any little uncertainties around my placement, and in that case Erasmus, because these concerns are often ones which my more able-bodied peers did not have to deal with, and it just allowed me to focus on the task at hand, and it gave me that bit of certainty, and definitely allowed me to achieve what I wanted to from that particular experience. And since the culmination of my college degree, I've then embarked on a 3-month internship with Horse Racing Ireland on the Curragh. It was with their communication team, and I suppose because my interest is largely sport and horse racing related, the transition period for me wasn't much of a, it didn't faze me at the time. I took it in my stride, I suppose, and kind of got into my stride pretty quickly. And then with that, obviously only lasting 3 months, I decided that I would give some time to the whole freelance nature of journalism and try and break in that way, which I did, and I was glad to contribute many articles to the Irish Examiner Sport. And then I suppose there came a time where I just said to myself, look, number one, it's starting to impinge on my enjoyment of sport, and also because of the precarious nature of the industry, I found myself just never sure of my weekly income, and that didn't sit too well with me. So I said I better swap the racing yards for the office. And with that, I suppose I sat down with family and friends, and through discussion and a little bit of research, it was I came upon WAM, and it was, you know, I thought on the face of it, it really appealed to me. The fact that, as I say, it was like a support network, a safety net, and the caliber of organizations and companies involved with WAM gave it tremendous credibility in my eyes as well. The fact, you know, the one thing that really stood out to me, I'll be quite honest, was the strenuous and the arduous nature, I suppose, of the interview process itself. Definitely, as somebody, I think, with a disability, I always feel that I want to get the job based on my credentials, the credentials that are evident on my CV, and I don't want to be given a job purely on the basis of, you know, filling a quota of disabled workers or workers with disabilities for an organization so they can look good. And that process of the interview was so strenuous and arduous that it did take a lot of preparation for that around the whole areas of competencies. And that, when I left that interview, walked away and said, look, I may or may not get this, but if I did get it, I'm getting it for the right reasons. And I think many people who have disabilities can probably appreciate that, you know, you want to get it on your merit. My placement, as Caroline stated, was with the Central Statistics Office in Cork. And most, I suppose, even further then, I was with the Wellbeing team, which is under the HR banner in the CSO. And it has been a leading organization within the realm of workplace wellbeing over the past 5 years, and has actually won awards already for it. So in a way, I knew I was getting a good placement, that they were leading, they were ahead of the curve, so to speak. And initially, I must say that straight away I was assigned a CSO buddy, they call it, as somebody who I could just go to if I was a bit nervous about certain aspects or unsure about the runnings of the organization, really, and just have a coffee with them and to discuss it. And that really helped me settle, and it's something that has been rolled out across the organization now, actually by Wellbeing itself over the last few months, and it really did help me. That said, I think in those early few months, a lot of my focus was on developing a strategy on well-being for the CSO, which would later be implemented within the organization. And I kind of felt early on that my skills weren't really transferring as much as I would like. And I suppose that I wasn't really showing my full potential. And so I just raised these concerns with both Caroline and Rachel. And, you know, I felt at the time that they were my concern was taken seriously and it was listened to. And I guess they've been down this road before, you know, having had such experience in the area, and they were rightfully just said to me, just give it time, give it a few weeks, let yourself settle in and come back to us if you need, if you still think that you know, things aren't working and you'd like to change. So at that I did, and sure as God, obviously they were dead right. With the passing of time, I really found my feet, and I think my skill set of communication, just dealing with people, and my own writing skills also came to the fore, in the fact that, especially I think in the wake of the working from home that has been, you know, caused by the onset of the pandemic, my writing skills came to the fore. We were writing on a daily basis of articles that could be of help to people during their remote working experience, and you know, organizing events, contacting organizations, all these the skill set really that I had built up during my time in the journalism sphere. And, you know, I got the feeling quite early on, and certainly when we were invited to Dublin by WAM last Christmas, I believe, for resilience training, it really struck me that, okay, they're placing us for 6 months, a finite duration, but I felt like that they wanted to ensure that the graduates left, you know, a little bit more empowered. And it's amazing how relevant the resilience training we received, excuse me, on that date actually has stood to me, particularly, as I say, as we have turned to working from home since last March. Those what I learned on that day, I'm still implementing the skills today. So it was testament to WAM as well that they want to progress their graduates, I think. And it's not just a token gesture, which is what it all boils down to, in my mind anyway. It's about feeling wanted and feeling that you're in the organization because you deserve to be there. Certainly, I couldn't help but recommend this program to anybody in my shoes or in similar situation, I should say, who is looking for a placement. And, you know, it's just the key to the door that gets you into an organization. After that, it's up to you to display your credentials. And that was made very clear to me as well, that just because you're on the WAM program, which was never made public, but, you know, the same was expected of you as an employee, which is perfectly reasonable, and it's the way it should be. And I think just one thing I would remind myself, and I would tell other graduates that were going into it, just to give yourself that time and allow yourself that bedding in period to find your feet. Most employers are very level-headed and very reasonable. They're going to give you time and make allowances for the fact that you need to settle into the role. But certainly, thanks to the CSO and my team at large, I mean, I've left this experience a much more confident and experienced person. There was a hierarchy, obviously, within the team, within CSO, the wellbeing team. There was 4 of us, but I never felt like on a daily basis that was kind of evident, we'll say. I was always encouraged to give my opinion, and suggestions were always widely encouraged. And so I never felt that, oh, I better not speak up here. It was all for the betterment of the organization. And just as WAM, I think, is for the betterment of the graduate. And that's a wonderful thing to know in this situation. So I'd just like to, obviously, I will reiterate what Caroline said. I am looking for work at the moment, and in the footballing terms, I suppose, it's transfer window, and I'm a free agent with no signing on fee. So if anyone wants to get in touch, feel free to reach out in the breakout groups, and I'd be delighted to send you my CV or contact details. But just for now, I'd just like to thank you all for listening attentively, and just to enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.